You know, millions of folks have heard songs from the Beatles' first Parlophone album, Please Please Me, both in the UK and in the US, because almost all of the songs were published in the US on the VJ album introducing the Beatles. So, do you know the songs well enough to spot fake facts about the tracks? I'll present a factoid for each track. You'll have 5 seconds to decide if it's a fact or a fake. Ready? No, wait a minute. I know, before we get started on this, that there are some of you that will know every one of these and will likely even be able to add other details as well. You know what? Feel free to do it. This is a community after all. If, on the other hand, I stump you guys, please comment as well so I'll know how I did it. Ready? Go!
1, 2, 3, 5.
Track 1. I Saw Her Standing There. Factoid. Paul McCartney's spirited count-in wasn't from the same take as the rest of the song. This statement is a fact. George Martin wanted this album to be a lot like the live sets that he had heard them play in Liverpool. Because of that, he wanted a rousing start to the album and liked I Saw Her Standing There as a potboiler opener, in his words. Take 12, the take that he wanted to use, had a barely audible count-in by Paul. But 3 takes earlier, take 9, did have the exciting count-in that we now hear on the recording.
Take 9. 1, 2, 3, 5.
Using the best of both takes, he spliced the opening count-in from take 9 to the rest of the song from take 12, and that became the final master recording. Except that when that master tape was used by VJ Records in the US on the album Introducing the Beatles, the recording engineer didn't realize that the count-in was a deliberate part of the song, and so he clipped the count-in down to just one word.
I'm the kind of guy.
Track 2. Misery. Fact or fake? John and Paul originally wrote it for British singing star Helen Shapiro, and not specifically for the Beatles. This statement is a fact. Helen Shapiro, only 16 in January of 1963, was riding a wave of popularity from her 1962 album, Tops With Me, and had become friends with the Beatles, John in particular, as the Beatles toured with Helen as a supporting act. Helen's manager, Nori Paramore, had mentioned to Paul and John that he was seeking new material for Helen. They decided to write a song especially for her. They started writing Misery backstage at King's Hall, Stoke-on-Trent on January 26, 1963, and finished it at Paul's home a few days later. When they presented it to Shapiro's manager, he turned it down cold. Well, as it turns out, Helen Shapiro's career was in the waning stages anyway, and the album on which this song would have appeared didn't even chart when it was released in the UK. Track 3. Anna, Go to Him. Fact or fake? This song was written by Paul McCartney as a fantasy about a girl in his art class when he was only 15. This statement is fake. Anna, Go to Him was in fact the first Beatles cover song to be featured on an American album. It was written by American songwriter Arthur Alexander and referenced his wife, Anna, because, according to him, Anna just sounded better than Anne. Alexander himself recorded the song in May of 1962, and it was released on Dot Records on September 17th. The Beatles recorded their version the next year on February 11th, 1963.
Chains, my baby's got me.
Track 4. Chains. Fact or fake? George Harrison sang this cover of the original by the Motown group, The Cookies.
Oh, yeah.
This statement is fact. George actually bought the single by the girl group The Cookies from Brian Epstein's record shop in December of '62 with the intent of adding it to the Beatles' live set. The guys first performed it for BBC Radio on January 16th of 63 and added it to their live repertoire during the last days of their performances at the Cavern. George Harrison sang every performance for them and for the record.
I've been told that a boy is a girl.
Track 5, Boys, Fact or Fake. Even though this was a regular part of the guys' live club set, Ringo had a difficult time singing it in the studio. It took 12 takes to get it right. This statement is fake. In fact, Ringo and the ensemble nailed this one in a single take. What you hear on the record, start to finish, is take 1.
I love you.
Track 6, Ask Me Why. Fact or fake? This was the first Lennon McCartney song to have been heard on the radio. This statement is fact. Before the recording made for the Please Please Me album, the Beatles, with Pete Best still playing drums, recorded the song for the BBC radio show Teenager's Turn, Here We Go, on June 11th, 62. It was broadcast on June 15th, 1962, making it the first Lennon-McCartney song ever to be heard by a radio audience. Well, how'd you do? This is the end of Part 1. There are 8 more tracks on the Part 2 video, including Please Please Me, P.S. I Love You, Twist and Shout, and 5 others. If you choose to leave at this point, I understand, but before you go, please take the time, if you would, to click on that like button for me, will you? And subscribe on YouTube, follow on Facebook, and consider upgrading your subscription on YouTube to channel member status or your follow on Facebook to subscription level. With either of those, you'll have exclusive access to new content before it's available to the public. Also, don't forget to comment. You can use comments to suggest video subject matter regarding pop music and pop music culture between the 1950s and the 1970s. Thanks a million for watching, and we'll see you on Part 2.